Hi there and welcome to the channel. I'm Barkanine, and in this video I'm going to count down my top 10 Pokemon of all time. This list is based purely upon the Pokemon that I have always loved, and it's not necessarily based upon Pokemon's strength or competitiveness. I just wanted to share with you guys the Pokemon that hold a special place in my heart, and I'll explain my reasoning throughout. So let's get to it then. Number 10, Lycanroc, Dusk form. Lycanroc is a Gen 7 Rock-type Pokemon. It's one of the 3 possible evolutions of Rockruff, which I also loved as a Pokemon, but it didn't quite make the list. My favourite Lycanroc form is Dusk form, which differentiates from its counterpart forms in both appearance and personality. Dusk form Lycanroc shares many similarities to its midday form, but instead it gets orange fur instead of brown, beautiful green eyes, and a thicker mane. In the game, Lycanroc gets a 487 BST with 117 base attack and 110 base speed. The Dusk form Lycanroc also changes its eye colour from green to red when it attacks, which resembles the Midnight form Lycanroc. I love the looks of the Dusk form Lycanroc in attack, and I chose this form over the Midday and Midnight forms because I feel it combines the coolest features of both forms. I mean, what's not to like? The endearing personality of Dusk form Lycanroc means it's able to stay calm and cool around trainers that it trusts, but also it can up its energy levels when it's time to battle, which is the perfect combination. Unfortunately, Dusk form Lycanroc falls into the RU tier in competitive battling. This is because its defensive frailty doesn't make it a great Pokemon to choose in competitive matches. But in the Pokemon anime, Lycanroc is a beast, which is one of the reasons why it makes my list. Ash's Dusk form Lycanroc in Sun and Moon has an incredible character arc. Joining the team as a Rockruff and evolving into a powerhouse Lycanroc over the series, Lycanroc's greatest moment, in my opinion, comes as Ash takes on Gladion in the final of the Alolan League. In a Dusk vs Midnight Lycanroc finale, Ash's Dusk form Lycanroc comes out on top, winning Ash his first Pokemon League, and winning Lycanroc a place in my heart and this list forever. Number 9, Flareon. Number 9 on my list is Flareon. Another canine Pokemon? Yeah. Flareon's a Gen 1 Fire-type Pokemon. It's an evolution, the result of cracking Eevee over the head with a Fire Stone. Once this happens, you get this beautiful flame orange and yellow furred pupper with incredible black eyes and a fiery breath. Flareon also has the ability to really turn on the heat when required. Flareon gets a BST of 525, 130 base attack and 110 special defense. Flareon is my second favorite evolution. See if you can guess what my number 1 is. It's the kind of Pokemon I'd love to take a nap on, as it looks like the world's best pillow. Flareons can be quite timid, quiet Pokemon, which is quite a nice thing, I think. It's a change from Pokemon that never shut up, like Meowth. In competitive battling, Flareon slips into the PU competitive tier. It's quite sluggish and has a poor moveset, and this makes it a sitting duck when it comes to competitive battles. But in the anime, Flareon is a different kind of beast. I mean, this thing could take out Lucarios, as you've seen in the video before, and I just really like its style. I love fire Pokemon, and that's why Flareon makes it onto my list. Number 8 on my list, Charmander. Charmander makes my list because it was always my go-to starter Pokemon in the Gen 1 games. As a pre-evolved form of Charmeleon and the epic Charizard, unfortunately Charmander doesn't really pack much of a punch. With a BST of 309, base speed of 65 and special attack at 60, it hardly sets the competitive battling scene on fire. But Charmander shows its true character in the anime after being abandoned by Damien. It goes on to become one of Ash's fiercest Pokemon. Number 7, Dragonite. Dragonite swoops in at number 7, bringing some serious firepower to this list. This kind of goofy looking flying dragon type Pokemon is my go-to powerhouse Pokemon in the game series. Dragonite's a rare Pokemon and it's rarely seen in the anime. The Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee Pokedex entry is as follows. It is said that this Pokemon lives somewhere in the sea and that it flies. However, these are only rumours. I like a bit of mystery about a Pokemon. The fact that this thing can use electric moves, water moves, fire moves, it's like the ultimate versatility tank. What's not to like about that? Dragonite may look like he's a big boy, but he can actually move really quickly. It's said that Dragonite can fly faster than the speed of sound, and they can go all the way around the globe in 16 hours. So that means it can travel speeds of 1,556 miles an hour. That's a rocket. Stats wise, Dragonite gets a BST of 600. It gets great coverage all round with 134 base attack and a not too shabby 100 special attack and special defense. That makes Dragonite the strongest Pokemon in regards to base stats on this entire list. Unsurprisingly, Dragonite falls into the OU tier, which makes it a strong choice for competitive battling. And we get to see just how awesome Dragonite is in the Pokemon anime too. For me, the greatest anime episode which features Dragonite, at least so far, is the episode where Ash and his Charizard take on a Dragonite in the final of the Orange League. In this super close contest, Dragonite ultimately comes out on top when it's able to out-flamethrower Ash's Charizard. That must have been embarrassing. I've always admired Dragonite for its deadly attack, its lightning speed, and its awesome design too. So I'm going to put it at number 7 in my list of my all-time favourite Pokemon. At number 6, it's Mudkip. Swimming in at number 6 is Mudkip, the mudfish Pokemon. It's my favourite water type, and playing the Gen 3 games as a kid, it was the obvious choice to be my starter. To me, Mudkip has a really unique colour scheme. It's got its cool amphibian blue skin with the star-shaped orange gills. I just love how it looks. I chose Mudkip on my list because I'm not really a big fan of Marshtomp and Swampert. As competitive mons, they're awesome, don't get me wrong. I'm just not a fan of the way they look, and that's really important to me in deciding my favourite Pokemon. Here's something you probably didn't know about Mudkip. That blue fin at the top of its head is actually a highly sensitive radar, and Mudkip is able to sense movements of water and air, so effectively it knows what's happening without even using those two beady eyes in the middle of its head, which I find, these little facts about Pokemon, I find them really cool, and it only adds to the appeal of Mudkip for me. So as you probably gathered by now, this list is not really about a Pokemon's competitive ability, and it's a good job with Mudkip. Mudkip has a BST of 310, which is just one more than Charmander. Its base attack is 70, which is pretty useful, but its base speed of 40 is a major weakness. Mudkips are very docile in nature, which kind of makes me think that they'd make great pets. And their 40 base speed means that they'd probably not get too far if they tried to run away. In the anime, Brock hatches an egg which turns out to be his very own little Mudkip. We get to see Brock's Mudkip in action against Ash's Grovyle, where Ash is really not holding back in this practice battle. I love the episode called A Mudkip Mission, where Brock actually saves a Mudkip which is getting washed down a waterfall. And so, for being an adorable little starter Pokemon, Mudkip makes its way onto my list. Number 5, Vulpix. Sleepwalking her way into the number 5 position on my list, it's the one and only Firefox Pokemon, Vulpix. Vulpix is the adorable red, bushy-tailed fire Pokemon from Generation 1, which we actually get to meet in the anime in the episode Fashion Flash. Here's some really interesting facts about Vulpix. When a Vulpix is born, it's actually born with one tail, and that one tail is white. You can actually see a one-tailed Vulpix in the Pokemon Battle Frontier. It looks really weird. But over time, a Vulpix will split its tail into multiple tails, and it gains the classic red-orange colour that we all know and love on the original Kanto version of Vulpix. Vulpix has made it onto my list despite it not being a particularly strong Pokemon. It's got a BST of 299, which actually puts it right down the bottom of my list. Weaker than Charmander and Mudkip, in fact. But no one uses a Vulpix to battle. It's a mascot Pokemon, really. In the anime, a famous Pokemon breeder called Suzy actually lets Brock keep her prized Vulpix, but he later goes and gives it back to her because Brock's, well, kind of an idiot. But in the time Brock does share with Vulpix, we can see how clearly that it's got a wonderful personality and how it makes a great addition to any Pokemon adventure. They can be temperamental at times. Blowing red hot flames into your face is not nice, but that's only when they don't get their way. It's kind of a spoilt puppy. So it seems that to get the best out of a Vulpix, you need to be a really patient and persistent trainer, which Brock is, to be fair. So Vulpix takes the number 5 spot on my list because I love it. Number 4, Emolga. Emolga is basically a gliding Pikachu, and I would pick it over a Pikachu every time if given the choice. Combining both electric and flying types in the right hands, this Gen 4 Super Squirrel can be quite a powerful weapon. Emolga burst onto the Pokemon scene in Generation 5, and it's not known to evolve into or evolve from any other Pokemon, so it's a very unique Pokemon. I used an Emolga on my very first save file of Pokemon Black, and it became the backbone of my entire team. I've loved Emolgas ever since. So Emolga in competitive battles can be set up in the right way. With a BST of 428, Emolga relies on its 103 base speed, which is pretty quick, to inflict its damage. The perfect move for Emolga is Electro Ball, a move that inflicts greater damage the faster a Pokemon is than its opponent. In the Black and White anime, Iris actually owned an Emolga, and a personal highlight for me was when her Emolga took on Sork and won in Black and White episode 43, displaying a masterclass in the move Attract. Iris's Emolga had a lot of character flaws, being quite lazy and controlling, but it also showed great character to come out on top, using a massive Electro Ball to finish off Sork in this battle. It takes the number 4 spot in my list. Number 3, Umbreon. Coming out of the shadows to sneak in at number 3 is my favorite evolution, Umbreon. This Gen 2 Dark type Pokemon can only be evolved at night with full trust and friendship from the trainer. Umbreon's striking black fur and golden rings make it one of my favorite Pokemon designs, and a design that is loved by the entire Pokemon fanbase. Its iconic yellow markings glow in the dark, and also when Umbreon gets excited, and it can strike fear into any Pokemon it comes into contact with. And Umbreon can be quite vicious. In the Pokemon Sword Pokédex, it says when this Pokemon becomes angry, its paws secrete a poisonous sweat, which it sprays at its opponent's eyes. Nasty. And for me, the fact that this Pokemon makes such a great battling partner only adds to its appeal. Umbreon has a BST of 525 and a base special defense stat of 130. That's huge. Its defense is not that bad either, at 110, and it also gets 95 HP, so this makes it a truly defensive Pokemon. Umbreon can be a real tough cookie to take down in competitive battles, with a moveset which can include Wish, Heal Bell, Toxic, Protect, and Foul Play. You really don't want to find yourself stuck in a battle against Umbreon. In the anime, Gary Oak evolves his awesome Eevee into a beautiful Umbreon, and we also get to see Gladion's Umbreon in Sun and Moon. Out of all the evolutions, I would pick Umbreon every time due to its rarity and the mysterious aura that surrounds it. Whilst sadly we don't get to see the evolution of Gary's Eevee, we are gifted in the Sun and Moon series with the chance to see Gladion's Eevee evolve into an Umbreon in the night as his special bond with his Pokemon pays off. What a lucky guy. Umbreon is a worthy choice for the 3rd spot in this list of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Number 2, Mightyena. Mightyena is my favourite Gen 3 Pokemon. This dark hyena wolf is often overlooked in top 10 lists, but I've always loved Mightyena as a Pokemon, and can even be quite playful as seen in the anime at times. The Pokédex entry in Pokemon Ruby states, Mightyena gives it obvious signals when it is preparing to attack. It starts to growl deeply and then flattens its body. This Pokemon will bite savagely with its sharply pointed fangs. I like the fact that Mightyena only listens to trainers it feels are strong and wise. It gives it an air of exclusivity and means it can't be controlled in just the hands of anybody. Unfortunately, however, this trait of listening to trainers it feels are strong can lead it into the hands of wrong people, as is seen when it is used frequently by the likes of Team Magma and Team Aqua in the game. With a BST of 420, Mightyena is not actually that strong, but it is very evenly balanced, and a nice base attack of 90 means physical attacks are the way forward.
Times and I can't get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I call
Growlithe. Perhaps, given that this is the Barkanine channel, you were probably expecting Arcanine to take the top spot in this list. But truth be told, Growlithe is actually my favourite Pokemon of all time. The Gen 1 puppy Pokemon is a classic fire type, as you can tell from its iconic orange fur and black tiger stripes. As a dog lover, Growlithe was always my favourite Pokemon as a kid, and growing up with the trading card game and Pokemon games, I always looked out for my favourite puppy Pokemon. Pokemon are not all about competitive battle stats. Sometimes you form a connection with a Pokemon just because of the way it looks or for its endearing personality. And this is where Growlithe shines for me. Growlithe is a friendly and loyal Pokemon, as is showcased time and time again in the anime. When you're in trouble, Growlithe will have your back every time. A Growlithe will stand up to a Pokemon 10 times its size or level when danger is present. Growlithe has an incredible nose. It's able to smell the emotions of others and never forgets a scent. Its powerful roar is enough to scare away any unwelcome intruder. Stats-wise, Growlithe is nothing special. With a 350 BST, 70 attack and special attack, it's not exactly an Arcanine, which has 555 BST. But as I've explained before, this list is not about the most powerful Pokemon. If it were, Arcanine would take the top spot. Instead, I'm thinking about the Pokemon that I have the strongest connection with, and that Pokemon is Growlithe. Growlithe's loyalty to its trainer is demonstrated in the Pokemon anime with James's Growlithe Growly. James and Growly were inseparable when he was a kid, and Growlithe often comforted James when he had problems at home. In Holy Matrimony, James is actually saved by Growly from his crazy fiancée Jezebel. Unfortunately, however, James has to leave Growly with his parents as he leaves with Jessie and Meowth. Years later, in the Diamond and Pearl series, James actually revisits Growly in one of his family's vacation homes. And, don't you just know it, Growly is just as protective and devoted to his master James as ever after all those years. While Growlithe often ends up on the losing side in battle in the anime, this loyal underdog will always hold the #1 spot in my top 10 favourite Pokemon of all time list. I hope you've enjoyed this list of my top 10 Pokemon of all time. Please leave a like and subscribe for more top 10s coming very soon indeed. Also, let me know in the comments, what are your top 10 favourite Pokemon? I'd love to hear. Anyways, thanks for watching and bye for now.